Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. My name is Valeria Meneses, and as part of the fire marketing team at Bosch, I give you the warmest welcome to today's webinar, where we will be discussing how to overcome fire safety challenges in historical and public sites. As we have been doing for the last several webinars, we have the WebEx translation tool available for all of you to use. It is really simple to activate. You just need to go to the bottom left side of your screen, and there you will be seeing a button that says CC, in which when you click, you can see the long list of languages that are available for you to choose from. Then you can also customize the little square with the text by dragging it or even making the letters a bit bigger. In case you are using a mobile phone, you can also activate the captioning by going below to the three little dots on your screen and selecting closed captions. The default language is English, but then you can choose from a long list of languages available. Again, this is a new WebEx tool that we have been using recently with a very good positive feedback. So I encourage you, all of you, to try it and also to let us know your opinion in the survey that we will be doing at the end of this webinar. A couple of extra considerations. The webinar is being recorded and therefore your microphones have been muted so that we can ensure good audio quality. We encourage all of you to send your questions through the Q&A section, and we will try to answer all of them at the end of the presentation. And for all of those who are just joining in now, welcome. Today we will be talking about how to protect our heritage, how to overcome fire safety challenges in public and historical sites. As you know, Bosch has a very long portfolio in which we have different solutions that can cover this historical heritage, these public and ancient buildings, and we are present in all over the world with these solutions. However, today we will be focusing on one specific solution, which is AVIOTEC, which is used to enhance fire safety in this type of areas and building. And in order to do that, I give a warm welcome to my colleague, Patricia Bogers, Business Development Manager for AVIOTEC, and whom you can also contact by scanning the QR code on the screen. Patricia, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Valeria. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. And yeah, thank you for welcoming me, Valeria. I'm happy to jump with all of you together now in this exciting topic that we have prepared for today.
Absolutely. So please feel free to share your screen with your presentation that I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. Very hot topic, quite literally.
So I hope you can all see my screen now.
Yep, I confirm that we are seeing your presentation.
Yeah, well, thanks all of you for joining our interesting and exciting topic when it comes to find proper detection solutions for this challenging environment of public and historical sites, what we want to discuss today. And I'm really thrilled and happy to jump with you into the question of how to find effective and successful solution of creating a good protection solution for these challenging environments. My name is Patricia Bogers. I'm responsible product manager for AVIOTEC, the video-based fire detection solution of Bosch. And yeah, let's directly start with the challenges we face in these environments. As you can see, the protection goals for safety managers basically consisting of ensuring safety, not only protecting assets, but first of all the people involved, guarantee the business continuity so that the processes are smoothly running through, no halt in service or in processes prevents the business continuity, as well as minimizing risk and comply with policies, bring a lot of challenges towards safety managers, and especially when it comes to heritage, historical sites, World Heritage sites possibly, and public buildings. This represents an even higher impact to consider for creating a proper protection concept for these installations. And what we discover and experience in the installations in the project often is the one that these installations lead to the fact that classic or traditional ways of detecting fires with classic detectors quickly come to their limits. And where and why this is the case, and what possible solution we can think about and design for these applications is the core topic of our presentation and discussion today. But first of all, let's start with a concrete example of Denmark. What happened in Copenhagen? You see the historic stock exchange building that was touched by a fire in April 2024. So last year, there was this large incident destroying the copper roof of the building and other parts that were strongly affected. The scaffolding around the building complicated the firefighting efforts in this specific case. So the reason of the origin of the fire remains unknown, but it caused extensive damage, destroying much of the building's interior and also art collection involved. Heroic efforts by the public and emergency services managed on the one side to rescue many significant artworks, including famous paintings, but this fire still is considered as a national tragedy. Prime Minister and the King of Denmark expressing sadness over the loss of an important piece of Danish history and cultural heritage. So on top of that, the iconic building, known for its dragon spire, was built by King Christian IV to establish the Copenhagen as a trading hub, and you quickly see which impact lies on such a building and how deep and severe the effects of such a fire event can quickly become in these environments. We see that quickly we come to the fact that high fire load is involved within these ancient constructions, that the unique shape, the special layout, the complex architecture lead to challenges for fire detection and also, of course, for the firefighting afterwards. The building is something where possible renovation works, welding, electrical installation and things like that pose additional fire risk to these installations, and that traditional fire detectors might come to their limits in this context to properly detect a possible fire incident in time, and thus it's actually up to creating the focus on detecting in time and save in this way valuable time within the alarm chain. So this is the precondition we see in many of these public and historical sites. And this was one idea for targeting these obvious pain points within installations with a new and different way of detecting fires. And in this context, AVIOTEC comes into the game. Why AVIOTEC? It is still, despite being on the market for almost 10 years now, it's still quite an innovative and new way of detecting fires by using real-life video images of the applications, processing them within a camera. So that's why we call it video-based fire detection. And in this way, offering a flexible, customizable, and fast way of detecting fires. Is it flame or smoke? Where possibly classic fire detectors like a smoke or linear beam or thermal ones due to different factors might come to their limits. We will discuss that in detail now, but what we saw is from many different projects during these 10 years we are on the market with AVIOTEC now, that often in the context with public buildings and historical sites, AVIOTEC offers the one solution to protect these installations properly, especially where the challenges in the environment, is it illumination, is it dust, lighting, wind, or installation points and whatever, lead to the fact that a new way of addressing the proper fire detection has to be taken. So what are concretely the preconditions, the challenges we face when we look at those public buildings and historical sites where the AVIOTEC can lead to a possible proper fire detection? Let's start with the complex architecture. Often those, is it cathedral, churches, also museums, they often deal with the fact that high ceilings are involved. And high ceilings lead to the fact that a possible fire incident at a lower level of the building, of the installation, takes a lot of time to reach the actual detector that basically or usually is placed at the ceiling of the installation. So due to the fact that smoke has a certain or a specific physical way of reaching the ceiling, in this time a lot of valuable time might be lost, where it is crucial to detect quickly in time over different levels, over a high ceiling premise involved, that takes care about different architectural elements, where blind spots are taken into considerations, where special architectural preconditions like towers, like narrow staircases are considered. And this quickly comes to the fact that we need a flexible, we need customizable way of shaping a fire detection concept here. And for exactly these use cases, AVIOTEC is the fitting solution in the way that the camera works very flexible. The installation spots can be flexibly be chosen. The blind spots can be considered, and especially for those use cases where those high ceilings are involved, the camera is able to detect the fire even on lower levels on site in time without having the fire event reach to its device itself. Another thing in these, for example, museums as well as in churches and cathedrals, we often deal with the fact that high fire loads are involved. Is it from the wooden doors, from the extensive curtains, the furniture involved? It is of course an asset to be protected, and on the other side, it leads to a certain higher fire risk than compared to other installations. Again, here a fast response is required, and that's why again AVIOTEC comes into the game of offering a proper solution to these high fire load installations. Another factor to be considered when it comes to historical sites and public buildings to be protected is the case that we quickly come into areas that are only open or semi-open, where classic detectors come to their limits when it comes to finding a proper installation spot. So in this case, AVIOTEC can also be considered as a proper solution to address reliable fire detection, as it can be also used outdoors or in semi-outdoor areas. it is especially designed to be or to offer a robust hardware and software design to possibly also detect within in possible windy situations, as well as with different illumination levels that occur in semi-open and open installations. So again, all the fire risks involved in these semi-open and open areas can also be addressed with AVIOTEC. Last but not least, light conditions. In churches as well, in cathedrals, museums, we often deal with a high dynamic factor in the image. Illumination is a key factor here. We have dark spots, we have light spots, we might have subdued lighting, dimmed lighting. So it's even more crucial to provide a proper optical footage in this context. And as the camera comes with an integrated IR illuminator, the solution provides a 24/7 detection possibility. So in this case, all around the clock, even in challenging lighting conditions, fire detection is possible to provide with AVIOTEC and overcome these challenging illumination situations. Yeah, to come to the camera itself, I've already mentioned some features. The new model, the AVIOTEC 8000 IIR, comes on the one side with improved hardware design based on its IP67 housing, so perfectly designed for semi-outdoor and outdoor environments. It also has a lot of more features integrated, like the mentioned IR illuminator to provide the 24/7 operation, as well as an integrated bracket and lens. With the integrated lens, it's very easy to adapt the focal length within the graphical user interface. This was optimized, as well as to provide better image quality by its improved sensor. This all leads to the fact that the heart of the product, it's a deep learning AI algorithms, a neural network integrated into the camera, process directly the optical data that the camera gets from the installations, and then decides by its pre-trained by thousands of pre-trained videos that the neural networks saw in the training and testing process, if a real fire event takes place or not in the installation. And based on this decision, the camera processes the alarm by its either its two relays, alarm and trouble, which brings the camera to the level of a conventional fire detector, or the data can also be being processed within the network. Yeah, to sum it up, all-in-one camera solution being provided here that acts as a conventional fire detector by its two relays, that has improved software and hardware features, and that can be quite easily be taken into consideration within our planning tool that we provide on our website, where you can define a proper AVIOTEC concept by defining its the installation positions and the number of positions of the camera, and it's a tool where you can work with different parameters. Is it the mounting height? Is it the opening angle, the fire size you want to detect? And thus come to the result of having as a first estimation how many cameras are needed based on the individual and specific floor plan of the given installation. Not to forget about the VDS certification the camera obtained some months ago. Yeah, VDS, the top certifier and certification body in Europe when it comes to fire safety systems, approved the camera as a proper and reliable detector. The camera underwent rigorous testing. Is it on the one side being exposed to different test fires, smoke and flame, as well as environmental testing, and thus got the approval as a strong sign of durability and reliability from the VDS. I brought some videos of our fire lab testing where we deal with exactly these fire tests I've mentioned. Here you see one example just to get an idea how the camera actually works with TF6. This flame here simulated against an orange background means the camera was even exposed to further stress and harsh environmental conditions, even with backlight. You see with the red metadata frame, the detection of the flame took place after 23 seconds. Another example to get a better idea of this 24/7 detection possibility, also within full darkness, we created this example out of a possible charging installation where an electrical incident leads to the fact that a fire event occurs. Here the view of the camera, the other view this one is by human eyes. And you quickly see the camera processing the data within the image. This is the so-called verification time slot where the camera processes the data. It already recognizes that a possible fire event takes place. And now by changing to the red metadata box, the alarm was triggered and can be further processed within the installation. The camera directly switches into this IR illuminator status by an illumination level of below 1 lux. So there's an automatic switch on of the IR illuminator, and without any further setting or configuration, the 24/7 detection can take place. Last but not least, to see or to get an idea of how the camera works in outdoor environments, especially when wind is involved over a longer distance, in this case more than 50 meters. The camera is able to, AVIOTEC is able to detect this smoke and flame event after 23 and 35 seconds, even outdoor over a longer distance. Of course, the incident has to be in the picture for a certain time, but the improvements of the algorithms lead to the fact that even with higher wind speed, a detection can still be guaranteed. So here we see the overview of the technology and how it works. In the camera, this mentioned and so-called neural network based on latest state-of-the-art AI technology is integrated. We exposed this network to different test and training videos out of many different applications involving, of course, those historical sites and public buildings, so that the camera is trained to the fact of deciding by itself if a fire event in the image takes place or not. It is fed by the optical sensor data out of the installation and then processes the data, comes to the fire incident decision, and then, as we already saw on the in the videos, the red bounding boxes appear within the video, and in this moment, the signal can be processed either as we know it from standard fire detectors to a fire panel, or within the local network to a display for further verification, and optional also remotely via remote connection to remote displays, handheld devices, and so on, which offers, of course, even more possibilities in managing the possible fire incidences remotely. In this way, the camera offers the possibility as one detector not only to detect the event, but give you even more transparency and insights. Means, give you a live image, give you an idea of how what fire event takes place, the persons involved, the possible material involved. So valuable information for the user himself, herself, but also for the firefighters when approaching or reaching to the fire event, of having this transparency and insight in the information already. And of course, for insurance companies, it's an important method of getting into root cause analysis after a fire incident. So to get a better insight and idea what was the cause of the incident, how the fire event developed, valuable information that can be processed afterwards to get a better root cause analysis done. We saw already the detection over long distances, and of course the question arises of what kind of distances or areas can be covered with one camera. I brought here one for you one extract of our data sheet, and when we look at the standardized fire sizes, for flame this is 50 centimeter, and for smoke this is 75 centimeter. To give you a rough idea, the detection distance with the smallest possible opening angle of 48.5 degree of the camera is around 50 meters. So it comes to the distance that we saw in the outdoor video, 50 meters to cover one to be covered by one camera. So when you might think about an installation where you have every 10 meters a camera, so roughly 500, possibly 600 meters of one area can be covered with one camera. Again, direct side of view is needed, so be aware of possible obstacles in between. But therefore, we recommend to use the mentioned planning tool to get an idea based on the given floor plan on how to and where to position which camera and which area can be covered then. When it comes to design the proper installation concept and the planning, of course, some environmental factors, requirements, and limitation of video-based fire detection have to be considered. And in this context, of course, in outdoor or semi-outdoor areas, wind and sunshine needs to be considered. Again, the fire event has to be in the image for a certain time. So if it's too windy and the time is not sufficient for the camera to process, this might represent constraint which needs to be considered and tested, as well as sunshine backlight, where the camera might not see the proper shape and pattern of the flame event. Again, the camera lives from the pattern and shape analysis, so this is really important to ensure that the event itself is properly be visible within the image. Also with fog or other environmental factors that could hinder this direct side of view need to be considered to prevent a possible non-detection. On the other side, to take care and prevent possible false triggers, it's important to understand if possible reflection, water damp, or exhaust, or any other event in the installation in the image could cause a scenario that is really fire smoke like, and which can be or need to be taken into consideration when designing and configuring the camera. We have different options of reducing those triggers by taking installation options into consideration. For example, we recommend to avoid the camera looking in the sky in order to avoid possible reflection scenarios for the camera. Also, it has to be mounted at an angle where these reflections are possibly avoided at all. And again, the direct side of view needs to be taken into consideration and needs to be or is one mandatory factor to take into consideration when designing the concept. In the field, what we saw as a also proper concept of bringing even more robustness into the system is working with this so-called dual cameras response, so that two cameras look at the same event and have to trigger the same event at the same time, of course, and response to this event in parallel, so that the alarm is forwarded and actually recognized as a trigger. From a configuration point of view, you have also quite a lot of options to use for bringing more robustness into the system. Is it to work with masking and exclusion zones within the image? So for example, if there is a specific spot in the image that constantly causes certain exhaust, like we see it here for the cathedral and churches, or possible candlelight that constantly causes triggers. These are parts that can be either excluded or be targeted with so-called verification masks, where a longer processing brings more robustness into the game. Possibly you use only smoke or flame detection in these specific areas. We have a time scheduler, which we will come into in the next slide too. And you can also work with event-triggered profiles, means, for example, in certain moments where a high amount of triggers appear. Is it with in production areas, we have that with cleaning cycles, or possibly also within the historical sites where a lot of movement is in the image. You can work with key switches to switch off the detection for a certain time schedule and then reactivate it after the event has taken place. Talking about the configuration, we deal with two main parameters. For flame and smoke, this is on the one side the sensitivity level, so you can decide between 3 levels on how you configure the threshold of the alarm level within the camera, and therefore have a leverage to decide about the sensitivity and the robustness of the camera and its detection within the image. The same applies to the verification time, where you can choose between different time times to be set. A higher verification time also leads to the fact that a more robust setting is given. And here you see the mentioned time scheduler, where one can schedule different profiles for different days. For example, during a busy day, setting or activating a more robust profile, whereas at nighttime, setting a more sensitive profile. This is very flexible to be configured within the graphical user interface of the camera, and thus gives you the possibility of directly addressing the configuration level to the needs of the application. Last but not least, for the system overview, we brought you here the overall view of the different connection options and possibilities. There are always 2 ways of connecting the camera within the installation. Is it, as mentioned, with the traditional way of connecting it via conventional light to a panel, to a fire panel? You need, of course, an interface module here, and you need to be aware of the fact that we strongly recommend to consider an additional verification site within the local installation, means via the second option of connecting the camera via the network connection, the picture, the image by live video is transmitted to a trained staff within the local installation, or of course also remotely, that can verify and decide over about the fire event decision within by using the video material in the installation. Recording is also possible by locally by a SD card that can be inserted in the camera, or by central recording via, for example, the DVAR BVMS. Connection to video management systems is possible, and also, as mentioned, remotely via a router to remote devices and displays. So you see there's a high flexibility given in connecting the camera, so to design and decide about the proper system connection and concept for AVIOTEC for the given installation. Yeah, so with AVIOTEC, we have a option, we have a value proposition that directly addresses those challenging environments. And besides many other markets and verticals, we definitely see the public buildings, to protect heritages, to protect high values with this given challenging environments, high ceilings, complex infrastructure, the lighting, the wind, all the factors we've just went through, as one proper solution to address these challenges and provide a reliable, fast, and robust detection solution. Yeah, to give you show you a reference in the end, I think it's always important and good to see where the camera actually came.
Patricia, sorry to interrupt. Something seems to be wrong with your microphone.
We have implemented the innovative AI-powered video surveillance solution that provides comprehensive protection, not only against fire, but also intrusion, vandalism, while addressing these unique challenges of this UNESCO World Heritage Site. So really a really valuable site with a lot of very valuable and important asset to be protected. And at the heart of the story is the development and implementation of an intelligent video solution provided by AVIOTEC in collaboration with the planning office. This solution protects the World Heritage Site not only from fire, but again also from intrusion and vandalism. So it was really important to address this comprehensive approach within this installation. 50 cameras were installed in 16 rooms, and they function as an early fire detection, but also as a kind of alarm system for break-ins and at night, and protection against vandalism during the day by reporting, for example, breaches of virtual off-limit zones around the given artworks within this installation. So the cameras effectively replace multiple separate security systems. Otherwise, one would have to think and design fire detectors, motion sensors, door sensors, all by themselves. So in this case, a comprehensive solution was reached. This project concretely demonstrates the difficulties of protecting such an old and architecturally complex building on the one side with traditional security systems. And on the other side, it showed how important it is to take a lot of important requirements into consideration. Bosch had to adapt to strict heritage conservation regulations in this project. This required, for example, extensive 3D simulation for optimal camera placement. And you can imagine the installation was needed, like concealed cables, custom-made brackets. The cameras were even foiled with black foil to color match the cameras to the given installation overall design. And of course, a close coordination with the Heritage Council was needed. In this case, again, AVIOTEC could play its strength by distinguishing relevant from irrelevant data, utilizing its AI-powered neural network, and gives also gives an answer to the challenge of the high number of visitors and the changing lighting conditions involved in this installation. For example, by distinguishing candlelight from real fire hazard. A crucial benefit in this use case is also the direct and standard compliant connection to the Aachen Fire Department. Means in the event of a fire, emergency services receive not only notification, but also the live images. So this valuable transparent insight into the installation and the precise localization of the fire's origin within this cathedral, thus saving valuable time and making the operation more effective. The project only worked due to the collaborative effort of involving all necessary and responsible stakeholders, not only Bosch, but the planning office, the cathedral master builder, the fire department was involved, the heritage conservation, and also the state of North Rhine-Westphalia being responsible here too. So this collaboration was essential for realizing this complex requirements and technical implementation given with this site. In the end, the solution in Aachen is considered internationally as an example and set as new standard for protection World Heritage Site. And we are convinced that it demonstrates how modern technology, AI-driven technology can contribute to preserving irreplaceable cultural assets and their interior. So this project actually serves as a pioneer model, one can say, for heritage conservation worldwide. And to give you an even more insight into this project, we brought this video with us. So here you see the cathedral, and the high ceiling involved, the challenging lighting, given the camera with its black fold design here. And in the video, you can see the demonstration of proof of concept within the installation by simulating a possible fire event within the cathedral. And you quickly see that in this case, the fire could be also quickly detected by the cameras, and thus leading to this comprehensive, reliable, robust, and quick solution of protecting this important installation. So with this video, I come to the end of the presentation, and Valeria, we have some minutes left for possible questions to check and discuss.
Indeed, Patricia, firstly, thank you very much for the presentation. Very interesting, very comprehensive information about how AVIOTEC can be used for fire protection on these kind of public and historical buildings. We have already some questions in the chat. I will start with the first one. Would it be possible for AVIOTEC, perhaps with new revision or model in the future, to do both fire detection and surveillance intrusion functionality simultaneously? Or is this already possible?
It is already possible, as we saw it with the example in Aachen, where the first generation of AVIOTEC was involved, including this security function that we mentioned with the additional protection options, again, access control against vandalism and so on, besides the fire detection. The current model 8000 IIR does not include these functions yet, but we are working, and as we are aware and see the need and the requirement of providing this comprehensive answer, also to provide a new solution, including the possibility of also working with security streams
Very
besides
good.
AVIOTEC. Yeah.
Yes. Also, just quickly to mention that I have the QR code now online. Please make sure to scan it and answer a quick survey about today's webinar. And with that, we move forward with the next question. What is the range for fire detection? How long this camera can detect fire or smoke?
Yeah, remember the extract from the datasheet, which already gives a really good feeling and insight, because of course this question is crucial to consider. And with this 50 meter, we are convinced that we reach already a really good detection range, also compared to other technologies. Remember with linear beam or with flame detectors, it might be a smaller distance to cover. This, of course, needs always to be considered from installation to installation, but thermal ones might also come to their limits here. So the video-based fire detection with 50 meters is already a good value that can be reached from the distance perspective. And I can tell you that we are working on even increasing this distance towards higher values in future.
And also you mentioned the tool that we have, the calculation tool, so that people can use it and identify how many cameras it's needed to cover a certain space. We have here another question. What kind of cables required to connect this camera to fire alarm control panel?
Yeah, you take the standard fire cables. There is no difference to consider with AVIOTEC. Of course, a standard interface module to be considered in the installation, but standard cables that fulfill the fire requirements can be used in order to connect it to the panel, and the standard network cable to connect it via the network connection, PoE.
A couple more questions. I think we still have some minutes. Can it work like a PTZ camera? I think it's fixed camera, right? In that sense, so it doesn't.
Yeah, if the question relies to the fact which kind of form factors can be used for AVIOTEC, you see here that the version that we currently support with the fixed bullet camera type. With other types of cameras, one needs to have a closer look. I mean, what is always important that the camera has a fixed precondition, means from one side, from first of all the installation. It possibly also important to mention vibration-free installation, so that the algorithm can work properly. And from a form factor side of the camera, this also leads to the fact that, for example, panoramic and PTZ cameras currently cannot be supported due to the fact that the algorithms only work with fixed camera types for the moment. Yeah.
Indeed. And then, is it certified according to EN54?
It cannot be certified to EN54 yet, because this regulation or a norm is in progress to be established on the market. So far, we have the certification from VDS. Of course, there are other certifications available, but from EN54, where we are aware and sure that it is an important product norm to reach and achieve, it is a clear goal to certify it in future. But first of all, the norm has to be available. For video-based fire detection, yeah.
And people here are asking if we will share the presentation. Absolutely. We will make sure to send the link to the recording and the presentation to all people that have registered. So please make sure to register for our next webinars. And in order to do that, please follow us on our communication channels. We have the newsletter. So you can choose the language in which you want to receive our news. And then you can also follow us on our new LinkedIn channel, Bosch Life Safety Systems. Patricia, I think, oh, sorry, before we wrap up, just a couple more questions that are popping up now. What is happening if the camera view is blocked?
Yeah, then as the camera completely relies on the motions and patterns in the image, the proper detection cannot be guaranteed, as the possibility is there that the fire event is not captured properly. So this is exactly the root message to ensure that the proper side of view is guaranteed. And this, from our experience, only works by exposing the camera to the specific scenario within the installation, testing it with a proof of concept, but possibly not only for some hours. If possible, we always recommend to bring the camera for for a certain time, possibly certain days or even weeks into the installation to expose the camera to different scenarios that can happen within this specific installation.
Yeah, but we need to guarantee all the time that the visibility is full for the camera to actually analyze what it's seeing, correct?
It lives from the optical data of the image, so the fire event actually needs to be visible within the scenery. Yeah.
And then one last one, is AVIOTEC approved by FM Global?
There is a standard where the current version is not approved yet, but we have this approval under evaluation, and of course for the specific markets where it is needed, under evaluation of providing adequate and proper certification then too. Yeah.
Very well then. So if there is no more questions, we wish you a very nice rest of your day. We thank your presence today, and please stay in touch so that you can keep up to date with our latest webinars and other important information. Patricia, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. All of you have a good day and take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.